they have the crane inspectors. So their work is to demand for this. This is a document. Okay. So before any crane is deployed for an operation, they must have checked.
The logbook.
Yes. They must have checked and ticked, tested and say satisfied, which means it is now this crane can be used for operation. So during my interview, no, this is practical. So there's no theory, too much questions. They will just give you crane and say, okay, do this. You can't just drop into the crane. You first of all request for the logbooks to find out have they done inspections of this crane. So this logbook will now let you know that okay, this crane is certified to work even before you start it. And even they have shown you this, you can still on your own walk around and check. Remember the boom, some booms use hydraulic, like the hydraulic car brake. So that hydraulic means if any part is leaking, then it can't pump very well. So that's what is called the boom collapse. You can take a load up and the brake will sustain it, and the boom will now come down to tip it. So what it means is that hydraulic may be leaking somewhere. So once you pop it halfway to leak. So you check it, and how do you check it? You must know the hydraulic cables. In most cases, they use the white cloth. Use a white cloth and run through it to see if there is any stain coming out. Yes, to see if there is any stain coming out from the cables, and that is the essence of projecting and rotating before lifting load. You project, you rotate. You bring your boom in high speed and check the brake, whether the brake can stop it. These are what you are checking to see if there is a leakage. That's the most dangerous thing. Then task, hoisting, lowering, swinging, and this is transporting. So both lowering has speed. Lowering of the boom has speed. So there is a load you will be lifting, and you use the lowest speed to lower it. Then we have two forms of lowering these booms. You can bring down your load by bringing down your boom. You can bring down your load by keeping your boom the way it is and just releasing the ropes. It's only the ropes that will now come down, depending on what you are lifting. So there are things you'll be lifting, and depending on the clearance. So if you notice that, okay, I can't bring my boom down this place. So what it means is that you keep your boom the way it is and lower the rope down. So if you notice that the place you are going to drop your load will not allow you to bring your boom down, it means the weight of what you are going to lift is still loose. How do I explain this? The longer the rope, the heavier the weight. If I tie something there and I have a load close to this, the weight of the pull will not be too much. But once there is a rope, the pull will be too much on this. Okay? So if you check that, okay, I can't bring my boom down, what I will lower is my cost. This will determine what type of load I'm going to lift. Then I'm not going to lift this type of, I won't lift up to 75 kg, 75% of the weight, because I'm not going to bring my boom down. It's my cost that I'm lowering down. Then transporting is just the same thing as doing. Questions so far?
Is there no any operation that can be done with half outage and then full outage? No.
It's not professional.
Because I've seen someone doing it on the roadside, so they have the outage and the side and then full outage.
It's not professional. But just as I said, we can't pass through this without taking some risks. Okay? So if you hear that someone is a professional means there are some level of risk you can take and survive it. Just like when you go to hospital, some doctor will check you and say, no, we can't take this. But some doctors will come and take the risk and get it done. So the more you practice it, let's assume you have practiced crane operator for some number of years, then there are some risks you can take because you have gained experience. So if you are moving with partial and full, you need experience of what to do to balance it, but it is not professional. So the ground weather, we have said it. In this ground weather, we are looking at this outrigger can peak. If you don't balance your outrigger very well, some outrigger doesn't come with what they call it, outrigger pad. Some doesn't come with it. So what it means is that the outrigger is just pointed. So if you put it on ground, no matter how strong the ground is, unless it is a concrete, once you take up the load, it may peak deep inside. And once it hits, it means you don't have a balance. So that is the ground condition. So the ground condition is that if it doesn't come with that outrigger pad, then you must get a flat, solid object. Some use very heavy wood, others use metal, but it must be flat. Projection maneuverability, overhead lines, simultaneous operations. Fine. These are what the things you are going to do. Is you don't really see a site where crane is working and you don't see other workers working. So there are always different number of activities going on in the place you work at the same time. As you are lifting, other people are digging, as you are digging, other people are doing this at the same time. So being safety conscious means that you must know the movement of all these people. You must know their movements and you must know the movement of your lifting to make sure that their movements cannot extend to your area of operations. Depending on the site you are working, the site you are working is the site that a number of people take drugs, including alcohol and tobacco. So you must be very conscious of their mistakes as well. Then if you are talking about overhead lines, this is overhead power lines. If you are talking about overhead, this is overhead power lines. What supplies light to the house? We are only using 240 volts. And 240 volts shorts and kills a human being. But before this light is stepped down, it is in thousands of kilovolts. If you are being close to overhead lines, you must be seeing some samples. That line may be taking like 1000 kilovolts. So you don't need to touch it before it shocks you. There are distances you cannot get close to it. Okay? So the standard is that if you are lifting a crane, your crane cannot be 10 feet, cannot be close to this, it must be 10 feet away. Whether when you extend your boom it will touch it or not. Even if you extend your boom and it will not touch this line, there are distances you must give to power lines. Because once it comes to contact with this, it becomes an accident. So the standard is 10 feet, mostly. Then the personnel, and that is what stands a pilot out. What stands a pilot out is training. The most safety device is a competent worker. It's not a head hat, it's not the vest, it's not the safety boot, it's a competent worker. So first of all, you must be well trained to understand everything about how crane works. If you like the training, if I get someone that did not pass through crane operation and you train the person on safety, can you operate crane? No. You can't. So he understands everything about safety, but he lacks competence in operating this machine. So the first thing they check is how trained are you, how competent and how certified you. Not that you have certification, but who certified you? What institution certified you to train for this? Now we'll change it. So if you go to the other civilized trades, This is how a crane operator looks. I didn't say it in Nigeria.
There are some of them that still look like
But in Nigeria, if you get a place like oil and gas drilling and some other places,
Yes.
this is how we like total.
Yeah, total.
Any organization that is being run by the West, the first thing they check is safety. They don't play with anything safety. Okay? And we are not having this in Nigeria because we don't demand for it. If you demand for it, they know that okay, this is how you should be. But if you don't demand for it, they let you be. So this is how we will be. This is not just a fashionable design. All this is protecting your rights. There are places you work. Let me give this example. If you are playing with earpiece, there's a volume you reach. And if you want to talk to a person, you talk in that volume. Somebody will remind you that your voice is too low. Yes. So there is noise will expose your ear. And if you come out to a place where people are now talking smallly, you start having hard hearing. You won't pick up what they're saying. Okay? So the place you are working, first of all, protect your hearing ears. If it is too noisy, they give you that ear off. So that whatever noise that is generating there, the amount your ear takes is what enters your. You won't receive that high. So that if you come out, it will not affect you. You have your hand gloves and you have your safety boots and your reflective jackets and other things. In some places, they will even give you eye goggles and those masks. In some places. But whether it is total or not, this is your fundamental. It's not a privilege. No, privilege is something you can't demand for. When you receive it, you say thank you. But right is, if you don't receive this, it means you are cheated. So it is your right to look this way. First of all, we look at crane hazards. Crane hazards. Anything that is dangerous and can harm you is called a hazard. And we have a lot and lots of crane hazards. In crane hazards, we are looking at what likely could lead to crane accidents. First of all, is improper load. Improper load is lifting higher than the crane or not picking it from the center of the platform. These are improper load. Then we talk of excessive space. Your boom space is important. Now, there are ways of maneuvering this. If you want to take your boom speed higher, it means you are hoist in the shovel. It means when you pick the load, you will incline your hoist until the load comes close to you. So that if you take speed, it waits smoothly. If the load is long, when you take speed, yes, it will swing. So, but if you recline it, you can now move.
So you can recline with the load?
Yes. There are some loads you pick and you don't bring your boom down. You keep your boom up. Yes, the rope will come down. Yes, and it's like building tower. That's
Yeah.
no, it's
Tower
not
crane.
Yes. No, it's a building. It's a tower crane.
Tower crane.
Yes. That tower it doesn't come down. The rope will come down to the ground
Okay,
with
the
some
tower
and
is different.
the recline it. So this one again you can pick and recline.
And you can also control.
Yes. You can pick and recline it. But the fact is, the shorter the rope, the safer. The longer the rope, the more dangerous because it will be swinging. Then we look at you check hand signals. It's part of what you are going to do. Hand signals. There are some jobs you'll be doing, and the closest person to you may be 5 feet away from you, maybe 10 feet. Okay? So in that 10 feet, the only communication you receive is their hand. Once they give you a signal, you must know whether it is up or down. Then inadequate inspection and maintenance. This is why you have to request for plans to check how they run. Unguarded parts, unguarded swinging radius. Swinging radius is the area you have to swing along. If I extend my boom, and my boom can go around this boom, That is my swinging radius. So you must check the clearance of your swinging radius. Unguarded means there is unauthorized movement. It means there are people moving and other things. Then you must take working close to power lines, improper exhaust system. I have seen a lot of cranes, no door, nothing, and the exhaust is directly at the back of the crane. So the whole smoke that is coming out there is entering the crane cabinets. That's why if you see a lot of them, they look very silent. Because they are not demanding for anything. Standard crane must have that everything up, both the windows and the glass shut. The safety standard is that any crane with a shattered windscreen is not safe to operate. That is the standard. So the windscreen must be okay, the doors must be closed, and the glasses of the door must be up. Then shattered window, okay, is even here. No slips or guardrails workspace, no boom angle indicator, or not using fingers. Not using my fingers. So the standard is no matter how small what you are lifting is, the outriders must be out. You can't lift on the tires. But with experience, there are some loads you can decide to take. But it is unsafe. And when it is unsafe, you can't do it. This is load limiting factors. So this is what we are saying. If you are loading this form, then your crane has maximum balance. If your load is in this form, it means there is a swing. You understand what this is? Yes. It means there is a swing. Now, this picture is as well showing us side loading. Crane moves 360. It moves around. Which means you can pick from here, pick right, pick left, and pick from back. Yes, it comes. But now, there is a lifting standard. There's the right way to pick a load. There's a wrong way to pick a load. If you are picking a load, and you are picking a load from the sideways, which means you are picking from the side of the outriders, okay? Then, this is what will affect the load you are lifting. Because if you are picking from the side of the outrider, it means the weight of that load at that moment is on one part of that outrider. That's what takes the weight. But you don't say no to it. What you do is, when you pick from the side of the outrider, you don't lift it up from the side of outrider. You bring it to the front, so that the weight of whatever you are taking is on the four outriders, not sideways.
Yes, because of balance.
Yeah. So the best way to lift is, the best way to raise it up is either you are raising front or you are raising from back.
Both sides.
Both sides.
But
One side you go vertical.
pick from there, then you take it from
If you pick from there, you bring vertical. So that whatever weight you are taking is on the four outriders. Okay? Now, in this way, we look at the effect of wind as well. You check the wind. So if you are lifting, you must know on what side is the wind coming from. Is the wind coming from the back of the operator? Is it coming from your face, or is it coming from side waist? So the best direction is if the wind is coming from the front of the operator. That is the best. If the wind is coming from your sideways, it means there will be dashing. Are all these things enough to stop work? No. What it does is that it helps you to know how you work with your load. Either you are going to recline the rope or you are going to lift the rope. No. If it's coming from the sideways, it means this rope must be shorter. So that if the wind is blowing.
But if you recline the load, that means the boom must come down.
No?
The boom is taking off while the load is.
Yes. You can keep it up and decline, depending on weight of what you are lifting. But remember, you can't keep it as vertical as this.
The angle will change.
Yes. It must come down. It's too high. And two, you can't pick a load with this length. You pick a load with shorter length of boom. It's when you go up that you project out. It's like if you have this, I used to come with one radio antenna or just a boom stick. If I have a boom stick that is shorter, I can tie some weight and it will carry it. If you make it longer and tie it at the tip, it will bend. So the same thing works. So don't look at this. This has its own strength. There is a load you will pick and it will break it. If you project full and pick some certain load and lift that load with this full length, it may break the boom. So you pick with a shorter boom length. It's when you go up, you project out. Okay? I've explained lifting, use of extension kits and other attachments. The regular will let you know much about chips. You have questions? So this is the heavy thing. Everything we are saying is to stop this from happening. That is everything except. Yeah. Safety conscious, safety awareness is to stop getting to these points. And you see, because of this accident is no extension being used. Yes. So the accident is due to an what? Operator. There is no accident that nobody blames on the crane or your foreman or whoever. It's always the operator. He used an incorrect cylinder span. So avoiding crane accident, we look at 4 key elements. Equipment reliability, certification. They must be certified that okay, this is personal confidence, importance. The level of your confidence will determine if your foreman will overpower you or not. If you understand what you are saying and you are very confident about it, the foreman will know that you are right. So he may not want to go, especially when it gets to a point where you demand for PT job. To show your foreman, okay, you are my foreman, I'm not disobeying you, but give me permission to work. And I will do the job. And this permission to work, you can only demand for permission to work if you know that the risk involved will not affect your own life. If it will affect your life, then there is no permission to work. It's like asking somebody, give me license, let me go and commit suicide. So that if that happens, so curriculum planning and risk assessment, we have known that, then job supervision and safe execution. So the essence of doing this is to ensure that your job begins safely and ends safely. These are the armed signals. If you come to someone that doesn't have confidence about, confidence comes with knowledge. Confidence comes with, if you know everything about crane operator, there are some crane operators that if you ask them, there is a vacancy in job and apply, they will tell you no. True or false? Because inside them they know that okay, people to work here must be experts. So they don't have that confidence in them. But if you understand everything about the crane, I can move, I can check, then that gives your confidence level. If you don't have it, you fake it, they know. That is the number one. So this is the signals. I don't know whether it is clear. But you still do the practical, you still do the practical aspect of it. It's not very clear. Yeah. You still do the practical. So these signals pointing down, you know what it understands. This way. You know what it understands.
We'll watch a video demonstration on Wednesday.
Okay.
Today is just introduction, and on Wednesday we'll get full details.
Okay. So it's very important. Then some questions. So the key points here is understanding what it is to train. That's number one. Understanding the key things you have to check before deploying your train for operation. That's number two. understanding your own fundamental right as an operator. So any job you are doing, what will be in your mind is that whatever comes out here is my fault. It's nobody's fault. The crane operator. Why? You have rights to stop work. You have rights to say, I am not going to. I won't do this work. But you must have your reasons. This is why I won't do it. You start pointing out safety challenges that may come up. You start pointing out safety challenges that may come out of it. That's number 2. Questions? You have questions? So the next thing we look at is we are going to watch accident scene. So you see how dangerous crane accidents can be. Yeah.
Sir, avoiding crane accident, can you therefore repeat the 4 key elements?
I think it's
The 4 key elements that leads to crane accidents.
I think we look at weather, ground. Yes.
No, sir.
You will see key elements. Still front. Before the sun.
Avoiding crane accident, 4 key elements. Which number 1 is equipment reliability, personnel confidence, and personal confidence.
Planning and
Planning.
yes. Equipment reliability, personnel confidence, pre-planning and risk assessment. Okay, you just came in. So this pre-planning and risk assessment, I said that you can't lift what you don't know. Anything you are lifting, you must know the weight, the gauge. If it is a container, you must know what is inside the container. They must let you know that, okay, this is what is inside. But in most containers, they will give you the tag on it to let you know, okay, this is the content and what is on this. But if the tag is not there, then whoever assigned you such duty will inform you, okay, this is the content. Whether it is explosive, whether it is chemical, to know how to move your, that will check your speed. Some chemicals is very, very toxic. Once you shake it, they will. And job supervision and safe execution.
And number 1, equipment reliability, right?
Yes, equipment reliability is just like a vehicle inspection. So if you enter your car and the brake is not working, this one is not working, it means it's not reliable to move. So the reliability is somebody will check it, but your work there is to demand for the logbook. So the crane inspector will every day certify a crane that this crane is certified to be deployed, which means you have checked everything and it's working. But as a crane operator, you still have that right. Not that right. It's still your duty to still go around yourself and check some things before. So we go to crane accidents. So before crane accidents, okay, we have this. No, you just go to it and crane capacities are generally greater over the I mentioned it. That's
Over the left side, the right side.
the capacity.
On the edge.
So the capacity is always greater, not like the size. When you setting up crane on outriggers, the width of the crane should touch the ground, be as high as possible off the ground, be just high enough the ground to relieve the tires of crane weight, or stay firmly on the ground to support the crane.
No.
See,
So the tires must not be on the ground. You must lift it. Then what is the difference between working load limits and safe working load limits of any lifting units?
The tonnage,
Yes.
the tonnage, and
Working
the
load
item.
limits, yes, and safe working load limits.
The tonnage and the item.
Tonnage and the
Item.
goods. Tonnage and the item. There's a difference between safe working limits and
Safe working load.
yes, and working load limits. There's a difference between these things.
Safe workload. First, safe workload can describe as the limit or the tonnage of load that is specifically satisfied to be used, and you are not to exceed more than that limit or that tonnage.
Exactly. And in grade it has an indicator for this. It has a sound for this. The operator can lift his seat with a suspended load if the machine is in perfect condition and all brakes are set. We say true or false. The meaning is, can you suspend a load and come out of your cabin and go?
No.
It is false. So once you suspend a load, you remain in the cabin. And as you remain in the cabin, your leg must always be on the brake. Though you have suspended it, which means you have activated the boom brake, but you will still put left leg in case something goes down. When lifting with cranes in general, as the lifting radius increases, the lifting capacity increases or decreases. Decreases. So as the boom grows further, then what you will lift must become smaller. So you can't lift with full length. What it means is, if you set crane here and what you are picking up is there, and if your crane can't move further, you have to project the telescope you are going to pick it. What it means is that the load will be smaller because you are now lifting with full length. Increases weight, increase in the load radius, and increase in the boom and boom, and increase in the boom length. The increased stability is affected by quadrant of. Yes, the name of the name of what I explained about lifting right side front is called quadrant of. The quadrant means form. So level of the plane and condition of the plane. So we can now see how the plane has been. But before then, Usher Association is a certification institution. So we train on safety and we give certificate on safety. So that any place you are going, when you present your equinox crane, you still have a safety certification. So let them know that okay, you have gone through safety programs. So the training we do is we do HS 1, 2, 3, but we don't call it HS 1, 2, 3, we call it supervisor level. So our certificate comes in gray. You have the certificate, you have your transcript, and you have your student wallet ID. Student wallet ID is a digital certificate. So what it means is that when you have that with your student wallet ID, any person can check your certificate any place, whether on phone or online. And our certificate is very well recognized. So we have done safety with a lot of, even the last batch. So, yes. So it's a different training. So in that place, you are going to run about 6 modules, including firefighting safety, hazard identification, risk management, emergency planning, and a whole lot of, including first aid. And because we have been working with Equinox for a while, we give a discount once the candidates are coming from Equinox.
When the district is after the Equinox training.
Yes. Or it can go, because we normally do it online. We do it on Zoom platforms.
So how much is it?
So,
Discount.
it is defined as.
I will discuss that. That's the safety at the end of the training. If you're interested, you can let us know. That's for HSC safety 1, 2, and 3. So let's watch the assembly.
So watch it and try to notice what works on.
Hey, how's it going? Is the last one? Yeah, come here as quick as I could. Wait up. Good. What? Yeah, I know. I need that for tomorrow. You're right on that. Are you okay? You can't move the crane. Listen to me. Don't move. That whole area could be energized. What do you mean, don't move? You're not in any danger if you don't move. I'll call the power company right now.
When the high voltage power line has been contacted, the ground around the point can be hit.
In control.
It is secure the radio.
The one is still standing.
If you can't move the machine out of contact and are in no danger, stay put until help arrives. If you are in immediate danger and have to move, keep your feet together and slowly shuffle at least 10 meters away. Your feet should move no farther than toe to heel, never leaving the ground. For more information on working around power lines, go to roomsafebc.com.
Okay. So we always ask what happens.
Yes.
Okay. So in as much as we try to avoid aspects, there are things we cannot, but it does happen. No matter how they happen. So if you know how to avoid it, you probably know what to do when it happens. So if I have a table and I drop a water on the table, the water takes me the downside or the upside of the table, depending on where it goes. But if I drop water on something that is very flat, the water stays that place. Electricity is the same way. It travels from one place to another. And because this plane is metal, everything is iron. Once it comes in contact with power line, it saves the whole electricity on that plane. That is why you have to use your hands gloves. Some great joysticks may not have that padded attachment. So if you are not using hand gloves, if you come in contact with this, it sends the same electricity to your body. And that is why you need to wear your safety boots. So if you come in contact with something like 1000 kV, you know earthing in wire, so the power will go down to the ground. But because the power is too high, when it comes to the ground will be electrified as well. So you see that man dragging his, so that there will be no travel. Because once you open your leg, it means that the electricity on that ground will travel inside you. So it's either you drag your leg or you hop. But the challenge, the condition there is that there must be no space between your legs. You must, it's either you hop or you drag your legs so that you don't give space. So that is what happens.
I also noticed the guy was not inside the plane, he was controlling the mobile.
Yes, it was using
Those,
yes. But if you're inside the plane, if you don't have your hand gloves and all that,
to
it's
affect.
I got this on video.
That is why they don't tell you to
And the operator is inside.
no, that one the operator will be distance is too far.
Say what now?
Can we hear your question? Sleep down so that we
Okay. I said, I cite a KD, big boldly written on the load. Is there any way the operator can see it from the cabin?
that's what we call LMI. That's what you were saying, load moment indicator.
Load
Moment indicator, LMI. It's a digital system, but it's not all phones that have it. So that when you pick a load, to read the tonnage of the load.
But the ones that don't have it,
That's manual.
load what?
Moment indicator. So the one that don't have it, that's where you use your load chart that we talked about at the beginning. Where the manual, where you can see the load of the crane, and also compare with the load you want to carry, and also your
what
angle.
exactly the
Yes. So that you know at what angle you are, this is the weight you should carry.
I have a question. So I saw this situation where I think if the operator quickly notice the onset of that incident and then you track the boom, will it affect the
It can also advert, but you know at that point in time, that's a shock. You understand? So you can even jump and
Depends on how fast.
Depends on how fast. So that's why the most important thing for you to do diligence. Check the weight of the load and the weight of your machine. Just like that one you saw, the first one you said, because the load was that bulldozer was obviously too high for that machine, and you're going to dig down. You also plan the job, because when you know you're going to bring it down to that depth, you should know that the weight is going to bring down, so you need a heavier crane that can withstand that capacity of dropping it to that depth.
you can pick over dropping.
You understand? Because when you know the nature of the job, you now know that it's going to go down. And how many meters down?
It's deep.
So you need almost a crane of 1,000 tons to withstand it going that there because the lower it goes, the more pressure it has on the back. Are you getting the point?
Yes.
And so you have to read the job to the end and know all the risks involved at every step and plan. So that's why you now say, this crane cannot do that job. But some people, when they know, they just want to try. And so that's why I say, that's why he said that you as an operator have every right to say you're not doing the job. You understand? But the company might not want to spend that money to get a bigger crane. You say, do it. You manage, don't worry. But you say no. If they not agree, you have to sign. So we have one of our people who's already working in team and will also come on Wednesday to give us more understanding and questions.
One more question, sir. And tower crane easily involved in this kind of accident.
Yes, same thing because you saw tower crane is longer.
Yeah.
You decide to where you are at the cabin and counterweight and you carry, so you need to know the load. But when you pick tower crane with heavy load at that length, it will also fall. So you know tower crane is, most of them are roadside operators.
This one is like a 20-pound crane.
I think it's retracting that one coming out.
It's retracting, yes.
It's retracting the
But of the other crane, the other one over there, so they are eight of them raising it together.
Yeah, together. It's called a tandem unit.
Okay.
Two cranes are working together.
How do you call it, sir?
Tandem.
Tandem.
T-A-N-T-A-M. When two cranes are working together.
D-A-M.
T-A-N-T-A-M. Tandem units. It's always the same thing with this issue. When you are picking from depth, it's going to be more heavier.
The distance is far. Let me see the crane that is using it.
Agora tá indo. Vai embora.
So now maybe blind spots. Just, yeah.
Okay. Now which crane you carry out?
They won't carry them too high.
Suppose drop the thing from the phone. What's happening here? The crane don't move.
Хватило колбы. Охуеть. Давай поворотом и далее, блядь. Фу, дерьмо какое вышло. Ну, что тут? Повезло! Ух ты! Ёб твою мать! Вот это я проебал момент тоже! А? О, нихуя он завис! Ёб твою, вышла лапа!
See, the ground was speaking. The ground was too soft. So, do you have any question? If not, we'll close the class, please. So from that this accident now, you see the major accident is tipping, because you have tipping and overturns. So these are the tension accidents. So we say the clinical accidents is tipped or it's overturned. So a train hardly overturns. Overturns is maybe falling sideways. The sticker is falls front mostly. So the mostly is tipping accidents. So we are going to know much of this when we meet in our safety class.
But that first one is the major one with the electrical.
Yes.
That one is very important.
Yes.
So we have got electrical sensors.
So thank you for your time today. We'll see you again tomorrow. I mean on Wednesday.
Thank you very much.
Yes, for the safety course. The safety course is okay, yeah, if you're interested, just put your name in the piece of paper. I'll pass it around now. After we check, then you know.
That's
But
it.
those are
That's it. It comes after all these.
Yes. Yes, if you're interested in the safety.
I just wanted to see. Excuse me.
I'm going to say 2 weeks now.
Oh, yeah,
That's it.
no, it's the same thing.
If you have done it, you know it.
Yeah.
But if you're interested
Okay,
in
the same
that,
thing.
Yes.
I have HSC already.
Attendant.
Well,
I already attendant.
I thought maybe just for the crane operator.
So we have it.
What's your WhatsApp number? Okay.
So
No.
yes.
And also your kits are important. Your safety kits, your boots, your helmets,
Okay.
your jacket is 20,000.
Okay.
So please start making payment for it. Because if you don't have it for a particular, so you won't.
Practical from next week. Monday.
Go up and next week. Next week they are going for risk assessment. So I'm going to go on with risk assessment, construction, yards, companies. That way I'm going to do next week. So your pastor is starting upper. Yeah, so please,
How much is that one?
the 20,000.
So
Sir?
That is the helmet.
The boots and your relative.
are they giving it as soon as we pay, or
Yes. Once you pay, we'll procure it.
then mine? I thought I paid mine today.
Okay, you'll get it by Monday.
Okay.
You will indicate your size, your foot size.
I want to ask something here. This registered yes or no? What is it?
Yes, you are registered. Okay, so sir, please come to the office. Quickly.
No, I still have something to say. They don't respond. They don't know anything.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let your right hand for
For the same
you.
time.
But I want to see it for
But you're not registered.
for the same house.
Yes. Put your name down.
I don't
You can use it now. Safety is very important. Safety is very important from general. Yes, now you get safety now. This safety for all restraints. I go to the office and fill the form.
So we use them, we go
This is attendance. If you go for sentinel, you work with your club, you can still see how it is.
Yes, we need to scan.
No. I won't meet myself. I mean, I still get
never be on. You got the
No, more now, the last one was
Where is the job?
Can we do it on time? Where's the job? Soon.
already against
I will go there outside.
But put down your name, you can test it.